Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be reading Am I the A-Hole stories and doing this obby. I don't know if y'all get the same vibe, but this gives me the same vibe as that one song that's like, I miss that kind of misery. But I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Am I the a-hole for telling my nurse mom not to do nurse stuff during my wife's labor? My wife and I just had our second daughter. For context, my mom is a nurse, but she doesn't work in labor and delivery. We invited her into the delivery room because she had never been able to witness one of her own children's babies being born, and we thought it would be really special for her. During labor, she seemed to slip into nurse mode. She stood behind the nurses while they were working, asking questions. One nurse even asked, "Oh, do you work in maternal care?" She was very nice about it, but it made me wonder if my mom was hovering more than she realized. A nurse told us, "When this machine goes off, hit the call button and I will come back." The machine went off. We called the nurse and my mom walked over and pressed a button turning off the noise. I asked, "Mom, what are you doing?" She brushed it off. Later, while the nurse wasn't in the room, she grabbed a handful of gloves and said they were just in case I have to grab the baby. I told her that wasn't gonna happen. When it was actually time to push, she started putting gloves on again and I stopped her again. After the baby was born, I looked over and saw her putting on gloves and starting to break down the delivery table. I immediately said, "Mom, no, please don't do anything unless you are asked to." What I meant was, please don't do medical or nursing tasks unless the hospital staff asks you. I wasn't saying she couldn't help us or be involved as a grandma. I meant this is a hospital, these are working nurse, and you are here as family. She took it differently. She called me afterward, cussed me out, and said I embarrassed her, and told me, "Who the F are you to tell me what to do?" She said she could do whatever the F she wanted. I told her, not in my life. She also said I'm always telling her what to do, but every example she gave was something she volunteered to do. She chose to walk my dog, to do the dishes, and adjust the stove while I was cooking. When I asked her to do these things a certain way, she got frustrated. She also tried to shame me by saying she was helping your bleeding wife by cleaning up after the delivery. My point was that nobody asked her to do that. Before the birth, my wife and I specifically said we do not want a video of the delivery, only pictures afterward. My mom took a video anyways because you liked it last time. That combined with everything made me feel like she kept overriding what we asked because she thought she knew better. It honestly started to feel like she was making part of the experience about herself instead of simply being there for us. After the argument, she flew home early instead of staying the week to help us, leaving us scrambling with a newborn and a toddler. Am I the a-hole? The Redditor also added, "I'd especially love to hear from nurses. Is this kind of behavior from another nurse who is there as family actually welcome, or is it generally something you'd rather not deal with?" Before I get into my opinion, here's some comments, like the top comments. I would have kicked her out of the room, not gonna lie. Not the a-hole. Once she started touching equipment and putting gloves on, she crossed the line. That is not her workplace or her patient. In my opinion, I don't think this Redditor is the a-hole. His mom just flying home after is so rude. That was like extremely rude. His wife just had a baby and they have a newborn and you're just gonna leave when you were there to help. But honestly, I feel like if she was there, she wouldn't have helped much. She would have just added to more stress like she was doing during the delivery. This mom, I feel like she wanted the brownie points of being like there and like in her mind helping, and then to turn around and be like, you're always telling her what to do whenever she asks for help, or she asked to help, that's something that she asked to do, and you're just like, hey, do it this way. That is giving like whataboutism. Like, okay, what does this have to do with the situation that we're arguing about right now? You were overstepping your bounds during my wife's delivery, so obviously I'm gonna feel some type of way. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she didn't have the right to mourn or go to her ex-friend's funeral after what she did? New account, since my daughter does know my other account. When my daughter was in school, she became friends with a girl named Kelly. They stayed close through college, and my daughter was even one of Kelly's bridesmaids when she got married. To explain where my daughter's behavior came from, My ex-husband cheated on me repeatedly and our marriage ended horribly. My daughter doesn't speak to her father anymore and she absolutely despises cheating. About 7 years ago, my daughter became convinced that Kelly was cheating on her husband. She started harassing Kelly online and essentially blew up her life. By the time my daughter found out that the man she had seen Kelly with was actually a relative, they were at a fancy restaurant together, it was too late. Kelly's marriage had already fallen apart, and because we live in a very religious community, she was ostracized by many. They had a huge falling out, and it basically came down to my daughter ruining Kelly's life. Kelly blocked her on everything and eventually moved away. Kelly hated my daughter after that, and so did her mother. I still ran into Kelly's mother occasionally, and she made her feelings about my daughter very clear. The issue is that Kelly recently passed away. My daughter found out through a Facebook post, and the funeral is this weekend. I had to do that part off screen because I was getting madder than a bull in a china shop and I knew that I was recording and I was just getting more frustrated. So excuse the cut and let's get back to the story. 2 states away. My daughter was planning to attend the funeral and I told her that I thought it was a terrible idea. She said she needed to go and I told her again she shouldn't. We had an argument and she said she had every right to mourn her friend and attend the funeral. I told her she didn't really have the right to mourn Kelly or go to the funeral because Kelly hated her after everything that happened and because my daughter destroyed her life. She hasn't spoken to me since, and now I'm wondering if I should warn Kelly's family that my daughter might show up at the funeral or that I might be in the wrong. Okay, so this Redditor was already deemed not the a-hole, but I think they should 100% tell Kelly's mom, like, hey, my daughter's planning to do this, like, try and get her banned from the funeral because she does not deserve the right to go to the funeral. She ruined that poor girl's life. Like, no way. No way in hell. Like, she does not deserve to go. Am I the a-hole for calling out my sister's fiancé mid-toast because it was basically about his ex? My sister Priya got married last month. At the rehearsal dinner, her fiancé her fiance Marcus her fiance Marcus gave a toast that started sweet, but turned into a whole speech about learning what real love means. After his last relationship, how he used to run from hard conversations, but not anymore. Everyone at the table knew that he was talking about his ex Jenna. They were together 6 years. It ended badly. He's said before that she changed how he sees relationships. So that was basically a thank you toast to his ex the night before his wedding. I watched Priya's smile get tighter the whole time. When he sat down, I stood up and said, just want to make sure we remember whose dinner this is. Some of that sounded like it belonged at a different one. A few people laughed. Marcus went white. Priya looked like she wanted to disappear. His mom cornered me after and said I humiliated him and should have talked to Priya privately instead. Priya's mad too. She said she had noticed it and was planning to bring it up with Marcus quietly after the honeymoon. Now I turned it into a whole dramatic moment that overshadowed her actual dinner. I still think someone had to say it out loud in the room since everyone was already thinking it, but I keep wondering if I just made my sister's wedding weekend about me instead of protecting her. Am I the a-hole? I didn't see that as like him talking about his ex. To me, that speech gave Priya taught him how to love and not be so closed off. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I would love to hear y'all's comments about, or y'all's thoughts about this story, because I thought it was a really sweet, like, kind of like whenever people are like, oh, they taught me how to love. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it from a different lens. So sorry we only got to 3 Reddit stories. I thought this obby was going to be a lot longer than it was. And I was like, well, crap. I already have the footage. But thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see y'all in the next video.